No, wait. Was this the other side? No, it was the other side. Against Parang. Parang playing, I believe, Jace at the time.
For sure. And Prang has been just a monster top laner. Everybody on Flamengo has been super dominant. Redbird standing out to me as well as a particularly good Flamengo player. And Parang, I know, has had a couple games on Gnar as well, so they might put him blind here on that red side third pick. And yeah, we're already into the bans here, and Flamengo are actually going to take away Camille, as they're worried that INTZ will use that to outscale Parang.
Yeah, Bull definitely favoring the Camille there. You don't want to give over something in the top lane that you don't need to, especially when Parang is so flexible. You can give him something relatively blind, even. Although it looks like they might be trying to run back what they had yesterday. Okay, thank God. Yesterday they tried to run the lethality Varus for absolute. It looked like hot garbage. Nothing happened to that game. Redbert was on Rel, which was not a great look for him. There was so much going wrong yesterday, Axeman. You would not believe.
It sounds like a scrim more than an actual CBLOL game, but
Hmm.
I guess that was how confident Flamengo were feeling against Kaboom, and not where they should have been necessarily. Revolta hovering Nidalee briefly before moving on to the Kane. They have a lot of junglers up for themselves. Just the
Yes.
Udyr and the Olaf taken away here so far. And
Yes.
all right, who's this Yone for? Is this for MB?
I think so. It certainly should be. Unless Bowl has been practicing some real spicy stuff, Rel is on the table. You should definitely grab that. Although it seems like the Alistair is the priority. We'll find out. They've hovered through different things. We'll get there. For right now, what I want to focus on is the Aphelios Lilia that has been chosen for Flamengo.
They locked Skarner. I was about to say rest in peace Skarner, but they locked it. We'll see if that was a mistake and we have to restart the draft here in a little bit. But
It's possible.
yeah, it's the 4% presence, 42% win rate. Yeah, that speaks for itself. But we'll see what Parang is locked in here. This third pick. Oh, was it Nar? Oh, there we go.
Thought
I
about the
called it.
Garen.
I
Imagine
got
if
it.
we had gotten a Garen.
That would have been rough, I think,
Yeah.
for Parang, poor guy. But nope, got the third pick, red side Nar, classic Parang.
And hey, I mean, it's a pretty balanced champion. Not in the sense that it's balanced, but in the sense that you can go offensive, you can play defensive. So in the hands of Parang, it is a force to be reckoned with, and his engages on this champion are certainly something to look out for. INTZ are going to have to play this respectfully, although they do have the Skarner to try and lock him down should the time come. It's going to be difficult for them to find an avenue with which to do so, though, given how many other things you have to deal with. Things like Aphelios, Lilia, and we still don't have two picks, and those are going to be for Tuts and Redbert, respectively, who are definitely going to be engaging on you.
We certainly will be looking for um, some supports here, and also
Seraphine's
mid
not
laners.
bad.
Yeah, the top laner there too. Um, but
Is
yeah,
Seraphine
Zir
just going to
taken
go
away.
through draft right now?
I think it might be.
Crazy.
They still need a mid laner here for Flamengo, so they could potentially look to pick that up. But the Alistar was left up there too. Seeing a lot more priority in CBLOL now. I would say is a better option than the Rel, but Rel's kind of a meme in CBLOL so far. Uh, so yeah, maybe avoid that one.
Yeah, a lot more known for the highlight plays, and Redbert specifically does not look good on Rel right now. Leona into Alistair would be a real nice matchup. I'm actually surprised that Flamengo don't pick that one for themselves, because before 2 weeks ago, Redbert had basically only played Leona, and it will end up being the Nautilus for INTZ. I believe trying to secure themselves just a better matchup into the Alistair. It's not significantly better.
Definitely 8 games of Nautilus, 25% win rate. Not the best support so far, but um, most really strong teams are valuing the support pick right now. And if you are putting a lot of priority on the support pick, you're picking things um, like the Leona, like the Rel, and those are the champions that are getting some more of those victories. And oh, there we go. Bowl going to be on Gragas this go around.
I like
I
it.
don't think this is a good pick into Nar, but most things aren't very good picks into Parang.
Exactly. I think it's more of
So
a into Parang matchup. You know, you're trying to neutralize him, just make sure
yeah,
nothing happens. Gragas, very good at making sure nothing happens.
definitely. Tots on Victor this game.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah, so INTZ they got a what is this comp? Is this a comp? I don't know if this is a comp.
Let's think about it. I mean, it
It's
could be a pick comp. I could see a pick comp.
that's what I was thinking. Is that they had the Skarner and the Nautilus, which is a lot of lockdown, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but single target damage uh isn't like stellar for them. I guess Envy and Mika have quite a bit of single target damage for the pick comp, but I think Kaiser was just a pick away. You don't want to leave Absolute with that. And Bull is just trying to figure out what he's going to play into Parang right now. So the comp, not necessarily the most synergistic one, but they definitely have pick potential, I'd say.
Yeah, they certainly do. And on the other side of that, you are facing down a team comp that definitely wants to team fight. So if you can find your way into the side lanes here, I'm thinking about the draft right now. I mean, we have Yone, so he can side lane relatively well. I suppose you could throw Gragas in one as well. If you can play the side lanes and just make stuff happen with a roaming Nautilus, roaming Skarner, you could blow open the game. But it's kind of a long shot, especially in the team fights, as we'd mentioned, going into things like Alistair, Lilia, Gnar, and Aphelios and Victor to back those all up. You're not going to have a great time.
Revolta and Gyeong have chosen correctly in their skin selections. Cosmic Skarner and Shanghai Scrolls Nautilus are the two best ones, I would go ahead and say.
You know, like Astronaut
Cosmic
Nautilus?
Skarner. I despise Astronaut Nautilus.
Wow. Okay, strong opinions, strong opinions.
Yeah. No, it's I main Nautilus. I don't like that skin.
Okay,
It's kind
why?
of funny. I don't like a lot of the meme skins. I don't know. It's something for me. Playing like a tank is about like the power fantasy. It's about being
Mm-hmm.
like 50 feet tall and crushing somebody with an anchor. And if I'm wearing a spacesuit, it's kind of like what am I doing here? What are
That's
we?
true.
Yeah. So no, I'd rather be a giant, you know, kind of mythological titan thing who's like crushing mountains and his reset animation, whatever. Because that to me is a little bit cooler. But yeah, that's just me.
I like it. I see where you're going. I personally am not the biggest fan of this most recent Ophelia skin. Too many lines everywhere.
Yeah. It's a lot going on with the whole skin line. I think that might be just our least favorite one. But it did give us the Shanghai Scrolls
Are we
line,
boomers?
which
Is that
is
why?
we might be. I don't
Yeah,
know.
that might be
I think
it.
we might be, but
Maybe this is popular with the Zoomer crowd.
it could be having like golden horns and then I don't know, like red clothes or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Uh,
that must be what
but
outside is like.
at least Redbird didn't go for the skin. He's got
That's true.
was it Sweeper Alistair or something?
Yeah. He's chosen not the most correct, but still a correct answer. It's a pretty nice Alistair skin.
It was pretty good there. The engage almost immediately from Gyeong, landing the hook onto Redbird, getting quite a bit of damage, but not uh, enough, I would say, as a lot is traded back on Amika there. But Nautilus, obviously, the 25% win rate of 8 games in CBLOL, not the best. Gyeong is kind of playing against the statistics right now. Another hook in under Redbird.
And yet another trade back as well. I really want to see Flamengo blow this lane out of the water because if you can get your Felios rolling early, Absolute has looked really good, but hasn't had necessarily the time to shine that Parang and Tuts have. You're very clearly going to win the late game. You can make stuff happen early into things like Kaisa Nautilus. You're going to ensure yourself success in the later stages of the game. Top lane, we already know is going to go well, and mid lane should just pretty much go even.
What? You know what?
What?
About so between these two teams, that was probably one of the better Twitter polls that we've seen. Because we've seen like 93% for some of these Flamengo games, and 81% is actually pretty good for INTZ. So they got quite the following here, um, trying to stand up against Flamengo. But I think most people are just kind of making the logical decision on that one. And calling the FLA victory on this one. Something I really love about this Nautilus pick, and I know I said I'm a Nautilus main, so I'm kind of biased a little bit, but what I really like about it into engage supports is that you can proc aftershock really easily. Oh,
Redbird
jeez.
does proc aftershock, but it's not quite enough. First
Hey!
blood does go over to Macau. That was a ballsy face check.
Yeah, yeah, that was not good. But what I like about the Nautilus is that you can proc the enemy supports aftershock really easily, without any of the pressure like having to deal damage to them. Right? You just drop the hook on somebody and you meet the. Here we go. Yeah, it's just a really, really good hook. Redbird out of position, and Kai's able to capitalize on that with the damage coming through. And good luck from Gyong. ITZ, the support, able to get first blood onto Flamengo. That is something you can definitely be proud of. But my point I've been trying to make for a while now
Please.
is you can hook the enemy tank, blow their aftershock, and then they don't have it for an actual engage. That was my point. That was the whole point.
That's true. And hey, it'll I assume continue to work, especially with Kaiser now being ahead, having the single kill, as Ranger's going to find Revolta in his own jungle. I'm not sure that you win this fight right now. Revolta is quite strong with his Spire, but Tuts is roaming over. Death Ray doesn't quite find the kill, although Ranger looks for it and actually does find it. Tuts actually weirdly getting the burn down there. Ranger should be able to escape alive, and now we see Envy really upset.
There you go. Yeah, Envy's like, man, I better get this kill because I know they're waiting for me back at my other body there. But they definitely get the kill there, and Ranger miraculously gets to walk away with all of that extra movement speed. Redbird,
Loves taking damage,
jeez,
this guy. Tuts, though, has shown
yeah,
up in bot lane and is tanking the turret even, so Redbird's going to collect some kill participation, but honestly, not too much else. That was interesting.
definitely Redbird playing all the way up right now. Support we've come to know for their playmaking abilities has kind of been played on this game, but has a little bit better of a time that go around with the teleport in from Tuts.
Tuts does everything,
And
that gank. He just literally does
yep,
everything.
yeah, he does everything there. But absolutely with tier 2 boots coming back in the lane, helping him out. Big weakness for this champion is immobility, and there's nothing else that really does to help that. He blows one target away from Aphelios. That's all he can do. Ooh, Parang. Oh, misses the Gnar. So close. He almost had that angle. But yeah, Bull able to just walk out. I don't know if he kills Bull there, but he definitely gets a lot more damage down if he gets a stun on the wall.
Yeah, and that sort of Gnar for poke is something that we see quite a bit in these lanes. Flamengo may be looking for a little bit of a play here, especially if you'd gotten that poke forced to reset, maybe a teleport. Instead, both top laners will have their teleports available for this supposed dragon priority that we should be seeing.
Redbird with the Hex Flash defensively over the wall. Don't see that too often from him. Normally it's Redbird Hex Flashing over walls in weirdly aggressive plays that
Yeah.
have almost zero chance of succeeding, but he goes for it anyway. But no, that time he's on the defense, on the back foot there. But yeah, INTZ the bot lane has been the most successful for them so far, and seems to come to a bit of a standstill for them. Ranger is picking away Dragon right now. Oh no, just taking the vision.
Should be the
Observer shows
dragon
us.
to come soon, though, because
Yeah, there you
Flamengo,
go.
they've got priority in the bot lane, they've got priority in the mid lane, and whether they know it or not, Revolta's top.
Volta is top. He's counter jungling. Recognizes he doesn't have control over the bottom side of the map. And now he recognizes there's no camps here.
He's like, oh, wait a
Whoops.
minute. That's actually a pretty cool thing that Skarner can do, though. Just pop in, get the
Yep.
Spire, know what the camp's. That's pretty dope.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Skyner's a good little champion, but Ranger takes this totally solo. Good stuff. Not a lot of pressure coming out of Skarner. Recently nerfed. To be honest, if it wasn't INTZ into Flamingo, I'd be questioning the pick at all. But it's what you're looking for as a team trying to giant kill is pick potential, right? And that's what
Mm-hmm.
Skarner brings in spades. Is that if you're going to have an enemy carry that's 10-0 at 20 minutes, you need something that can lock that guy down. And that's what Revolta has brought to his team here with this pick. Envy, maybe a little hopeful in this trade, but ends up coming out positive.
Now, though, could be on the
Yikes.
receiving end of some real bad stuff. Redbird doesn't
Yeah.
quite have the ultimate, but we know he would go for these. Unfortunately, not going to happen right now, or rather, fortunately, if you are a Flamengo fan. Flamengo also getting control over the next neutral objective as well, ending up starting up the Rift Herald as Tuts drops his ultimate for Poke this time.
Drops it for Poke, drops it to clear the wave 2 to help him and Redbird maybe go for the dive on this and have, like you said, more priority for Rift Herald. Very difficult to get any kind of contest going here for INTZ when your mid lane is getting pushed down like that by the Victor ult. But um, yeah, Flamingo looking very good right now. They got the 1K gold lead. Not as big as we've seen from Flamingo, but pretty heavy on the scaling, right? So them having a lead at all in this game is a little nuts.
Yeah, this is a little spooky, certainly. Although you could turn that
Ooh,
around with a
got the
really nice
ult
pick.
down.
Good ult from
There it
Revolta
is.
as well, brings Tuts back. That's a big shutdown, but it goes over to Revolta. Still found by INTZ, though.
That's always how it had to be, Dia, for that gank to be successful is the perfect, just right at the max range there of the ultimate for Envy, and just barely out of vision range for Revolta coming in with the ultimate, picking it off, and they get the kill down to Tuts. Very, very well executed by NTZ, and they bring themselves closer to closing this gold gap between the two teams. So very, very nice from them. Exactly what the Skarner pick is looking to do, and very, very good for Envy, right? He's trying to scale up. And at this stage of the game, he just needs a couple of gold spikes, a couple injections of gold to be able to start stacking up the crit. And then Yone gets pretty scary.
Yeah, at that point, he can't even threaten the likes of Absolute and Tuts at the same time. That's the luxury of having the Fate sealed, having all the AoE that Yone does bring to the table. It's interesting that we see Yone more than Yasuo. I think it's because of that ability to instant reposition, but they are still very similar champions. I'm surprised that they don't have more crossover, you know?
Yeah, I would say in particular, um, at least one, because I've heard analysts, not a lot of analysts, but some analysts say Yone is the best champion in the game, especially towards the end of season 10. A lot of people thought that we were just building Yone wrong, incorrectly, and that there was a better build path and a better play style for Yone, and that if we played that way, he had the numbers to be the best mid laner in the game. Now that the items have been reworked and stuff, that camp has been kind of emboldened, right? And also just the success that Yone is having in pro play, and I think, here we go, Redbird.
Goes in for the engage here. Triple
Play.
sleep as actually really big. Stalls out the fight here for Flamengo, but a big Fate sealed.
Jeez.
Picks up two. Takes down Ranger, and Revolta's on his way out now. Flamengo haven't actually found a kill yet. Do finally find Revolta on the back end of that. But INTZ get away with everybody else, and Envy does manage to pick up another kill this time, or at least kill participation. Bull hanging out in the top lane right now. Not going to be able to do too much for his own sake.
Yeah, not too much there. Here's a replay for you. Flamingo maybe overstepping a little bit. Redbird recognizing he's in for a penny, in for a pound. Goes all the way back in. Envy with the big, Ranger with the big ability there. And Revolta's on the run. Prang on the back end tries to get the stun. Misses. Revolta goes down.
Envy actually
But,
dodged that sleep with the Fate, or with the Soul Unbound.
yeah,
That was
pretty
crazy.
cool.
That was, yeah, nice.
Like to see that for sure. But another big difference between Yone and Yasuo is Yone has hybrid damage. It brings a little bit more to a competitive team comp. It certainly helps him out for sure. And then the E too, kind of getting a get out of jail free card makes him a little bit more competitively viable. But I'd like to see Yasuo. I think seeing Yasuo is a lot of fun. And he counters a lot of really good champions in the meta right now that depend on big skill shots. So with the wind wall. So yeah, I think it might be fun. But for the time being, it's just his brother. Second dragon up. No jungler in the area, I don't think. Or actually, Revolta's there. And they have bot and mid prio. Oh, here we go. This might be a dragon angle here, Dia.
Could be it. We're looking at the makings of one, although Parango's aggressive under his tower. Is about to go mini as well, which could be really bad for him. Does end up
Oh
using the Gnar though,
boy.
and gets the stun, and in the
Wow.
1v3 one more time, Parang just turns these around.
He really does. And Nautilus draws the aggro a little bit too early. Parang punishes him so hard. Gnar him back under turret. And keep in mind, what level is he? So yeah, he's level 6 Nautilus. Not super tanky.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the itemization coming through here. He went tier 2 boots, Swifties first. Boots of swiftness. Um, that's bizarre, right? But
Mm-hmm.
that W doesn't do nearly enough to protect him from the turret damage, and he goes down very simply there. But all in all, I would say just bad timing for my ITZ. I mean, Gnar is about to go mega, and that's the time you try to freaking like dive him. What's going on there?
Yeah, and the macro wise, it makes a little bit more sense. I mean, considering that
Yeah,
Flamengo did just get the top lane tower, you want to respond to that in some ways, INTZ, but totally misguided in the way that they're doing it. And we see the gold lead right now, in big part, is due to the turret plates shown on the bottom of your screen.
definitely. Turret plates, 11 picked up there by Flamengo. Just the 4 for INTZ. Good to see that they trade back anything at all, but yeah, Envy eating out of there, but trading less than half of the gold back is not an acceptable way to win a game there. So 3,000 gold lead for Flamengo now, and I believe they picked up that dragon. No, INTZ did. Yeah, INTZ got the Cloud Dragon there.
Which actually is not that bad because it is our first not Cloud Soul of the day. So Flamengo
Oh yeah.
will theoretically have dominance over a few Drakes that will only make the game snowball harder. INTZ going to struggle to keep control over this Dragon Pit if the game keeps going in the way that it has so far.
Infernal Dragons here are going to be helping. Um, Well, INTZ stay more relevant if they can pick up those dragons, but I don't see them doing so. I think it's just going to help Flamengo scale out when they're already scaling super hard. I mean, you're seeing late game hyperscaling champions have CS leads coming out of laning phase, and that's what you expect from a dominant team is leads out of laning phase. But when you have these late game champions, it's kind of like like how, right? Are they this much better than INTZ? The answer is yes.
What's going to happen here? Parang, there we go, isn't going to go Mega just yet. They actually keep him there for a little while,
Uh,
but I think he might be able to outplay this. The question right now, though, is what are Flamengo getting for it? Parang should go down. Is he
Oh
actually turning this,
boy.
though? Revolta, in so much trouble, does manage to survive just barely, but it takes 3 people and 0 tower to fell. Finally, FLA Parang. Now they get the mid lane tower for it. You will take that every day of the week.
Oh yeah. I mean, we lose Parang, and that's bad. I think he might have had shutdown gold on him, maybe.
No, he's 1-1.
Yes, 101 so no shutdown gold there, but they do get the mid lane turret down. And I think shutting down Parang, not shutting down Parang, but shutting down Parang, is good for them in the long run. Losing mid lane turret doesn't feel very good. Oh, just at the
Losing
very
absolute.
edge of it.
That could be really tough. Envy goes
Oh
continuing for that kill, but
no.
doesn't actually find it. Absolute surviving just sub 100 HP is big for Flamengo. If Yone is able to find those picks, it's disaster for you.
Remember way back when mid laners took ignite and we got those kills? I
Yeah,
remember.
rip.
Yeah, not anymore. They got teleport and get like triple kills bot lane or something. But Volta picks up this Rift Herald, and
When I
oh
started playing League of Legends, I would take Ignite on my mid laners, obviously, and I would just burn it in lane for nothing. Like I would
yeah.
walk up to somebody and ignite them because I read in the tooltip that you got extra like 5 AD and 5 AP for burning it, and I was like, this is the strat, guys. This is
Oh
for sure
yeah.
how I'm gonna win.
There you go. Yeah, no, I really like that. I'm bumping up the damage numbers. What do you mean? It'll be
Exactly.
off cooldown when I need it. Come
Yeah.
on. But that's funny. Prang. Um, met by Bull in the bot lane, the side lane there, but I think he's just kind of biding his time. I'd like to see how many stacks he has on the Grasp of the Undying. It's pretty easy for Prang to proc. We go Revolta in a
Tuts
little bit of
just burns
trouble.
his QSS.
Yeah.
God knows why.
I don't know. I don't know the answer to that question. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense at all. But Envy going to take that top lane turret, dragging up in 30. Oh, I called that. That was like 25 seconds. There we go.
Boom.
Boom. Mika looking for some vision control. Not going to be able to find it. Goldly is sitting pretty steady at 3K. So things not getting worse for INTZ per se. Unless we're talking about this bot lane turret. That's
Yeah,
getting worse.
that it's definitely getting worse. Parang is in a pretty strong spot right now. Double Leandri's picked up for the composition of Flamengo and Absolute hitting his items as well. This could just be the way that Flamengo classically like to play the game, and I'm more than expected to be, actually, given that they really have the superior scaling that they drafted for, and are more than confident playing in that way of holding out, waiting for INTZ to make mistakes, and even if the gold lead isn't expanding, even if Flamingo aren't making it expand, it will if they just hold out for long enough, right? INTZ will eventually overstep their bounds, and I think that's exactly the way that Flamengo have been working on playing. Farang, though, goes aggressive, thinking that INTZ did it right then. They might be able to find Bowl. Big Cask makes the Gnar miss, but the Chaos Storm is dropped in the back. Fate Sealed has to be used defensively, and Bowl is left on an island all alone.
Yeah, lots of engage. Not a lot of disengage there from Bowl. But Envy having to ult out of there too feels super bad, as that ult has been a huge... Okay, yeah, that's a little bit hubris there. Just trying to interrupt the back, and he's backing on a ward, so it's good there from Envy. But had to burn the ultimate to get out of the situation. That's been a huge pick tool for them so far, right? They've gotten lots of kills on the Tuts out of that ultimate, and now he's not going to have it for the next little while. So it feels pretty bad, but he did get out. So that's, I guess, at the end of the day, really what matters.
We'll see.
You know?
We'll see. I'm
for sure.
Yeah, Tuts has actually been a very silent win condition. We don't talk about it too much because we're looking at people like Parang so often and Ranger making stuff happen, but he's a very carry-oriented force on FLA.
100%. He's got a good Victor, and that is something to be feared in CBLOL. There are not a large amount of really good Victors, maybe 2 or 3. A lot of good Zoes, a lot of Orianas, but the Victors are really spooky when they get online, as they tend to with Tuts. Bowl dodges the seed.
Actually,
out of that,
likely the difference between him being alive and dead.
Yeah, exactly. Because that ultimate was available for Ranger, and there were 3 Flamingo players there. Definitely worth it to blow ult on the kill on the solo laner. So yeah, it does save him.
You commit 3, yeah.
Yeah, they get that the last of the outer turrets in the game.
Flamingo want to find an engage here. Redbird goes for it, but doesn't find it. The hook returning is not going to catch him either, so it will be both teams unintentionally disengaging.
Young is doing the classic Season 11 Nautilus thing where he's like 5 levels below everybody else.
Parang's about to 1v3 again? Or I guess in this case, 1v2. He's going to eat a lot of CC and damage. It isn't anywhere close to going Mega, so that's just Parang going down.
Yep, caught out in Tri-Bush. I think Parang is used to having vision control of the enemy jungle by this stage of the game.
Yeah.
So maybe just a little bit of confusion there from him. Like, where are all the wards? What do you mean they can see me? What is that? What? Come on now. But INTZ having unprecedented success here. They've actually closed the gold lead by a couple hundred there, which is something you don't normally see. They're actually holding steady, too. It's been 3K for a while now, so pretty good to see from them. See if they can make a comeback. Need to start soon.
I hesitate to say that this is INTZ playing ridiculously well, and more that Flamengo are doing that thing that they were doing right before they went down to Kaboom, which is just making these weird macro missteps. It's not that they're actively losing things, you know, they're not running it down at you and then falling, but maybe not having vision control in the appropriate places, making plays toward top side that don't work out, losing their mid tower. You're just letting INTZ back into the game little by little.
For sure here. And there has been some pretty good plays from ITZ too, especially from Envy and Revolta. The synergy between those two has been fantastic. Guion has had some good hooks too, but yeah, it's a little bit of both sides right now.
Parang
Kyong.
is not too close to Mega just yet, has a little while to go, but Flamengo can certainly survive for that time. Gyong goes quite low. Envy should burn down here to the Leandries. One last tick will do it. Envy does go down, and Flamengo find themselves 2 picks just as Nar goes Mega. Parang under the tower finds the Nar and might just find the Kai'Sa. Mikau, though, survives just barely. Tuts can't quite finish him off either. Instead gets finished off himself by Bull, who goes golden, flashing away, preserving his own life, and the fight is chaotic. It is crazy, but it is even.
Yeah, it goes even here. FLA in the attack in the mid lane. Now they're looking for that demolish proc from Redbird. They get it. Down goes the turret. They're over onto Dragon now in 15 seconds.
Oh my lord.
With Dragon's soul point there for themselves. I did want to point out, not to flame Gyong. Do you remember back when I said that Gyong was 6 levels below everybody else?
Mm-hmm.
He was the same level as he was then at the start of this fight. So
I don't know what's happening.
Not incredibly useful in that fight as he went down pretty early on, but at least he did something in the early game. ITZ pressuring Baron now.
I think you're keeping INTZ occupied right now as Flamengo. Redbird's gonna eat a lot of damage. The Unbreakable will not quite off cooldown just yet, but apparently he does not need it. Revolta goes down to Absolute, who just can't quite finish him off, and now Ranger has picked up the Dragon. In the meantime, you get amplified damage on everything. Flamengo make out like bandits.
They definitely do. Ranger soloed, I believe, all of the Dragons so far. Envy, not even
Fate
the
Seal
soul
to get
dash.
out. Parang.
Fate Seal.
Oh, Jesus.
Yep. Yeah, that'll do it. But even using Fate Sealed and the dash out with the E, not able to get away from Parang, who is quite the hunter here on Summoner's Rift right now. Not particularly good in the kill score, but the state of the game that they're in right now is massive for Gnar, and he's got the items he needs to, right? Stride Breaker and Steric's Gauge make for a pretty big Gnar. Tuts, now he's caught out.
Isn't quite insufficient damage, though. There's so much CC there. Redbird is more than capable of peeling, and that is several picks. Now a Baron going over to Flamengo, and remember that gold gap was closing. It's not so closed anymore.
I would say so, yeah. It has expanded quite a bit now as Flamengo predictably start to pull into the lead. Gyong canceling auto attacks on the control ward.
Oh yeah, the classic.
Yikes. Oh yeah, there you go. Yeah, I don't know. I think Flamengo probably ended here, right? On their Baron power play. There's still, well, I was gonna say there's a lot of towers in their way, but there really isn't, is there? It's just the inhib turret.
And Parang is pushing in bot lane as well, and you're going to have to send more than one person to address him. So Flamengo, they can kind of play the patience game right now. There is some wave clear available for INTZ, but it seems like they don't even want to Baron up these minions. They are retreating to the next wave to try and get them to crash at the same time.
Yeah, I think they're just threatening the rotation down bot, trying to get the INTZ to split up a little bit here. But that is really what INTZ need to do, is 5 stack in a bush or try to look for a pick. And if you don't know where the enemy team is, that becomes very difficult for you. So you see the Revolt on the flank here. Maybe they look for Absolute, but they don't have the follow-up positioning to be able to do that. And the chokehold is just going to... Yeah, it's just going to close on them here.
This tower is almost down in the bot lane, and at that point, you're not going to be able to just deal with Parang anymore. Let him be off to the side, because he'll start taking your inhibitor. He'll start winning the game. Envy gets pulled down, and Flamengo, they get the chance to push in the mid lane here. Parang looking to go aggressive, maybe using the blast cone. Doesn't get knocked up by Envy. Is still in the front line, but now has no jump to get back over. Redbird, though, decides that it's time to fight. Parang is not going to go down in the meantime, even though he has gone squishy. INTZ are being chased down slowly, and Gyong goes aggressive, but the cask splits everybody up, giving Redbird right up into the front line. 1-for-1, makes it. Envy looks for the Fate Seal, finds it, and gets a double kill, finishing off Tuts finally. And we do get Ranger getting CC'd by Revolta, not quite pulled into the fountain. Goes golden to save his own life.
Wow,
Absolute is still alive. Bull's looking for that final cask and does find it. Absolute should be retreating right now, as Parang seems like he's caught a little bit in over his head. INTZ managed to stay alive just barely in their own base.
So double kills for Bull and Mikau are leaving INTZ at least a little bit more time in this game with Flamengo, making the stats look a little bit better. This is a team that wants to push to the late game, and they are living up to that reputation of being able to prolong games, being able to get them up past that 30-minute mark. And they will do so once again, despite being down a considerable amount of gold to the best team in the league. Um, it's not winning, but it is something.
That's true. That's true. They're at least
Yeah,
not. It's not lost yet.
yeah. INTZ is good at not losing for a very long period of time, but death comes for us all, and it's coming for INTZ.
It certainly will eventually. Redbert, the engaged monstrosity himself, is walking down the mid lane. I assume securing vision control right now because we've got 34 seconds on this next Drake. If Flamengo get this, it's going to be much harder for INTZ to withstand the push.
Definitely here. And,
Mikau?
Flamengo looking for the top side turret, the last of the inner turrets there. Waiting to see what Flamengo does. They're playing some pretty big mind games right now.
I'm
Making sure that
curious.
the positioning is obfuscated. So
I like that word. What is that word? Is that like, was it obscured?
yeah, like obscured, hidden.
So, interesting. I like it. I like where it's going. Revolta is going to need to really make something happen here if he wants to try and keep this soul from going down. Flamengo already having started it up and basically already having finished it right there, as they do manage to pick up the Infernal Soul. That's a lot of extra damage in their pocket. And now they can honestly look for the final push. There's only one inhibitor standing, so we might just see 5 members go top lane.
Could be no Baron for another minute, but controlling that top side of the map is still probably a pretty good idea. I think right now Flamengo are just trying to be very difficult to pick, and they are doing so with quite a bit of success here.
They get all their gold spent. Their 3 QSSs on all the key members. Parang, Tuts, and Absolute all have one. At least one. It would be cool if you could pick up multiple. But now we'll be able to push right back out onto the map. INTZ, they're waiting. They're hoping that FLA misstep. Not sure how likely it is to happen, Axeman, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I don't even know if a misstep would like spell doom for them yet, right? I think they still have a lot of room to make as many mistakes as they want and still succeed here, but that is definitely what INTZ need, is some kind of miracle, some kind of this is very much Flamengo's game to lose. 100% correct there. But INTZ, love that they're trying to focus on the vision game. This is how you win games that you're losing. You set up vision close in the jungle, try to look for a pick. It's just unfortunate for them that this is how you win games you're winning for Flamengo.
Yeah, they're very aware.
Very much aware of what the old Skarner Nautilus is trying to accomplish there, and are playing the vision game competently themselves and rotating back onto objectives when they come up, making sure they're playing a very safe, very uh, just a very safe game, to be honest. Very disciplined.
Yeah, Baron gets taken with no contest. Almost everybody dings up a level. Absolute finally hitting it a little bit late here, but that's an additional stat that everybody is up in. You don't want to engage onto Alistair here. Ranger does get suppressed, but once again goes golden right afterwards, and now the backup from Flamengo has arrived. Absolute picks up the first kill and is more than scaled enough to do that at this point. Tuts finds the next, and it's pick after pick going down here. INTZ. Wow, Bull actually survives. But the same cannot be said for their hopes in this game. Parang gets to 1v2 for a little while, has the Naur, might actually finish off Envy there, and he certainly does. Well, meantime, their Nexus is being slapped around. Flamengo have found themselves yet another win here, and it is expected, it is required of Flamengo to be able to step up after yesterday, and they do it.